The invitation arrived in an expensive cream envelope, gold embossed with an image of a luxury yacht slicing through crystal blue waters. Inside, elegant script announced, "The Parker Family Annual Summer Cruise, a celebration of success." Ran my fingers over the raised lettering, recalling last year's humiliation, when my brother Marcus had accidentally forgotten to send me an invitation. This year, they wouldn't be able to ignore me. I'd made sure of that. My name is Sarah Parker, and I was about to give my family the surprise of their lives. The phone rang just as I finished reviewing the quarterly reports for my company. "Sarah," my mother's voice dripped with practiced concern, "we need to talk about the cruise." I leaned back in my leather chair, gazing out the window of my penthouse office overlooking the marina. From here, I had a perfect view of my latest acquisition, a 300-foot luxury yacht gleaming in the morning sun. The very yacht my family thought they'd rented for their annual display of wealth and status. "What about it, Mom?" she sighed, the kind of sigh meant to sound reluctant. "Well, darling, your brother thinks, and I agree, that this year's cruise should be selective." "Selective," I repeated, watching a crew below polish the yacht's exterior until it sparkled. They had no idea they were working for its actual owner. "You know how these things are," she continued. "Important business contacts will be there. Your father's new partners, Marcus's investor friends. We need to maintain a certain image." Ah, yes, the image they'd clung to for years. The successful parents, the golden son, and the disappointing daughter. The daughter who dared to walk away from the family investment firm to chase some online thing. That thing was now worth billions. "And I don't fit that image," I said, keeping my voice neutral. Another one of my yachts, just a small one, glided past in the harbor. "Sarah, please don't make this difficult," she said. "You know your situation is, well, it's embarrassing. Everyone keeps asking what you do. And that little online business of yours, it's just not what we mean by success." I smiled, glancing at the acquisition documents on my desk. My little business had just bought out our biggest competitor for $4, $2 billion. "I understand, Mom." "You do?" Relief bloomed in her voice. "I'm so glad. Marcus was worried you'd make a scene." Marcus, my perfect older brother who'd never worked a day outside our father's firm, who'd been handed everything while I built an empire from scratch. "No scene," I promised, "but I am coming to the marina to see you all off." "Oh, Sarah, that's not neck." "I insist," I cut in smoothly. "Family is family after all." After we hung up, I called my assistant. "Maria, is everything ready for tomorrow?" "Yes, Miss Parker," she said. "The captain and crew have their instructions." A pause. "Are you sure you want to do it this way? I thought about every family gathering where I'd been seated at the kids' table. The Christmases when Marcus's mediocre milestones were toasted while my major wins went unnoticed. The endless stream of relatives offering to help me find a real job. "Absolutely sure," I said. The next morning, I arrived early, watching from my car as a procession of luxury vehicles pulled into the marina. Marcus's new Ferrari. Dad's Bentley, Mom's custom Range Rover, all leased, though they liked to pretend otherwise. I stepped out into the sun, dressed in simple linen pants and a white blouse, stark against their designer cruise wear. "Sarah!" Marcus called, his voice edged with mockery. "Came to see what success looks like?" He gestured toward the yacht behind him. The Aurora was magnificent. 6 decks, a helipad, every imaginable luxury. I'd spent a fortune customizing her over the winter. "Something like that," I smiled. "Oh, darling," my mother said, air-kissing my cheek. "You didn't need to come. I know this must be hard for you." I watched the crew, my crew, load. supplies, and luggage with flawless precision. "Not at all, Mom. I'm just here to make sure everything's perfect." "Perfect for what?" my father asked, adjusting his Rolex. "You're not still thinking you can join us?" "This cruise is for successful people only," Marcus added, his friends snickering nearby. They all knew the legend of the Parker family failure, the daughter who walked away from a cushy job to start some mysterious tech venture. Now, my mother said, patting Marcus's arm. "Sarah understands. This is a networking opportunity. We have standards to maintain." "Miss Parker," a voice called from the yacht. "We're ready to begin boarding." My father frowned. "That's strange. The captain should be speaking to me. I arranged this rental." "Did you?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "Are you sure?" Before he could answer, the captain strode down the gangway, immaculate in his white uniform. Marcus stepped forward, hand outstretched. "I'm Marcus. Parker. We spoke about—" The captain walked right past him and stopped in front of me. He saluted. "Welcome aboard your yacht, Miss Parker. Everything has been prepared according to your specifications." Silence. Even the seagulls seemed to fall quiet. "Your yacht?" my mother whispered. I pulled out my phone and showed them a photo of me signing the ownership papers for the Aurora 6 months ago. "Did you really think you could rent one of the most exclusive yachts in the world?" I said sweetly. "The Aurora has been selective about its clients since I bought her, along with the rest of this marina." Marcus turned pale. That's not possible. This yacht costs $180 million, I finished for him. Give or take a few million for customization. Want to see the paperwork? But this was only the beginning. My family had no idea their carefully curated cruise was about to become something very different indeed. My father was the first to recover, his face flushed with anger and calculation. "Now, Sarah," he said, lowering his voice, "let's talk like family. If you've really achieved this level of success, we should discuss integrating your company into Parker Investments." I remembered how he'd laughed me out of his office 5 years ago. "You mean the company you called a foolish pipe dream? The one you said would never work without the Parker name?" "The past is the past," he said, waving a hand. "Let's talk about the future. The family legacy." "Legacy?" I repeated, then turned to face the crowd. Investors, partners, social climbers. Many of them had ignored me in boardrooms. Now they were staring like they'd seen a ghost. "Let me tell you about legacy." I stepped forward. 6 years ago, I pitched a startup to Parker Investments. My father and brother spent 20 minutes explaining why it would fail. Then they offered me a job as Marcus's assistant. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. I turned them down, built my own company, and yesterday we finalized a $4.2 billion acquisition of our biggest competitor. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "My name is Sarah Parker. And the Parker legacy doesn't begin with the men standing behind me. It begins now." The next week, every major business publication ran the headline, "Tech Billionaire Sarah. Parker acquires family firm in stunning power shift." The photos were unforgettable. Me at the helm of the Aurora, golden hour sunlight at my back, surrounded by some of the brightest minds in tech. Multi-million-dollar deals had been inked aboard that cruise. My family's public downfall was swift. When the SEC launched its formal investigation, Marcus was charged with fraud. My father's once sterling reputation crumbled overnight. The Parker name in finance became a cautionary tale. But I still had one last gift for them. When they returned home. After that fateful day at the marina, each of them found a small package waiting at their door. Inside was a toy boat, a miniature replica of the tender that had ferried them back to shore. Attached was a handwritten note. "Success isn't about the size of your boat. It's about the size of your vision. Thanks for showing me what not to do." A year later, I received another family invitation. This time, it wasn't for a yacht cruise. It was a simple dinner at a modest restaurant. Curious, I went, dressed in the same white blouse and linen pants I'd worn that day at the marina. My family looked different, humbled, weathered. Marcus approached me first. His designer wardrobe had been replaced with off-the-rack basics. He looked thinner, quieter. "Sarah," he said, I'm sorry." I looked at him, the golden child who'd spent years ridiculing me, who'd once laughed as I was shut out of our family's empire. "Sorry you underestimated me," I asked, "or sorry you lost everything because of it?" He had no answer. I turned to the rest of them and spoke calmly, clearly. Success isn't measured in yachts, buildings, or family names. It's measured in vision, in grit, in believing in yourself when no one else will. I let the words settle before grabbing my coat. Remember that the next time you're tempted to call someone a failure. As I stepped outside, my phone buzzed with breaking news. Parker Tech launches Innovation Center to fund overlooked entrepreneurs. The lead photo showed the renderings for my latest project, a startup incubator dedicated to founders who had been dismissed, underestimated, or told they'd never make it. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about taking back what was denied to you. It's about redefining the game entirely. And sometimes the most powerful statement isn't made by a $180 million yacht. It's made by a little tender boat bobbing back to shore. Its passengers finally realizing that the one they called a failure was the only one who ever saw the whole ocean. Oh, and Marcus? He's still around, working in the mailroom at my company. Entry level only, of course, no failures allowed.